As this course focuses on C# code, your knowledge of JavaScript may be quite limited. JavaScript uses very similar logic and syntax to C# code, so you should be able to understand it with very little difficulty. This course will not cover advanced JavaScript, but you will learn everything you need to call web methods and enable AJAX features. To begin this lesson, open the Mega Chat project from your sample files folder. And open default.aspx in Source View. You're now going to add a new JavaScript function to this code. First, find the tag script type equals text/JavaScript. Now add the following code inside the script tag, just after var username. Function send message message. This defines a new JavaScript function named sendMessage with an argument named message. JavaScript functions are almost identical to C# methods. Now you're going to add some code to the sendMessage JavaScript function to call the sendMessage web method from this page's code behind file. Add the following code to the sendMessage function. Page methods dot sendMessage message. This code is all you need to call the sendMessage web method using JavaScript. It just happens to have the same name as the JavaScript function. You're able to do this because the Script Manager control automatically generated JavaScript code for the Page Methods object. The Page Methods object is created by the Script Manager control to enable easy access to web methods. Connecting to a web method manually requires more complex code. You'll do this in Lesson 8.10. The sendMessage web method writes a new row into the Mega Chat project's database. You created the sendMessage web method in Lesson 8.6. You're now going to add some code to the sendMessage JavaScript function to also display the message on the screen. Add the following code on the next line of the function. Display message, begin single inverted commas, div style equals color blue, an HTML bold tag, end single inverted commas, plus username, plus begin single inverted commas, end bold, colon, space, end single inverted commas, plus message, plus end div. This code calls this page's displayMessage JavaScript function, which displays the message inside the div tags with the ID chatbox. Now let's examine the JavaScript event handler that is going to call your sendMessage function. Find the code $# text area input .key down. This code uses Jquery to call the sendMessage function when the user presses the Enter key in the HTML text area control called Text Area Input. Text Area Input is the area at the bottom of the page where the user will type in chat messages. This code makes extensive use of the Jquery library. Don't worry if you cannot completely understand the code at this stage, because you'll learn more about Jquery in Lesson 8-9. Having said that, here's an overview of how the code works. TextAreaInput.keyDown function event creates an event handler that will run whenever the user presses a key within the text area input control at the bottom of the page. This event handler is only interested in the Enter key, so the next line checks which key the user pressed. Event.keyCode contains a code indicating which key was pressed. Key code number 13 indicates the Enter key. Notice also that this if statement checks to make sure that the Shift key is not held down. If the Enter key is pressed, the contents of the text area input control are sent to your send message function. The val function retrieves the text that the user typed into text area input. Next, the val function is used again to clear the contents of the text area input control. Ordinarily, the page posts back when the user presses the Enter key. To prevent this from happening, the following code is used: event.preventDefault. Thanks to the efforts of the W3C, HTML and CSS are now implemented in very similar ways across all of the major browsers. JavaScript, however, still has very bad cross-browser compatibility. Writing JavaScript that would work in every browser used to require a lot of programming effort to account for the peculiarities of different browsers. Fortunately, the free open-source Jquery JavaScript library does all of this for you. Jquery is so useful that it has been estimated that over 55% of the world's 10,000 most visited websites use the Jquery library. In this lesson, you've seen the Jquery Key Down function used to create a JavaScript event handler that runs when the user presses a key. This could have been done with less code by using JavaScript's own onKeyDown event, but it might not work in all web browsers. All of Jquery's functions are fully compatible with all web browsers, making Jquery's functions the best choice in almost every circumstance. Now let's test your code. First, open the code behind file of default.aspx and set a breakpoint at the start of the sendMessage method. Now click Debug, Start Debugging. Now enter a username and press Enter. Then scroll to the bottom of the screen and in the text box type test message and press Enter. The breakpoint is encountered and you are returned to Visual Studio. Now hover the mouse cursor over the message content argument to check its value. As you can see, the message was successfully passed from your JavaScript function running in the user's web browser to your C# method that is running on the web server. This was done via AJAX without refreshing the page. Stop debugging now and close Visual Studio. You've now completed Lesson 8.7. Call a web method using JavaScript.